So before we send this off to be resimmed and re-rendered, I'm going to close this thing now. There's also the issue of, when we up-res this, and this isn't our final sim yet, but generally speaking, we can see it feel like it renders differently. Like, we had less whitewater, and certainly only like key areas had the diffuse vorticity, but here feels kind of just brighter all around. It's more of a wash. It's kind of showing up all these little things everywhere. So again, that tends to happen a lot. That it should just be a high res simulation, but it just isn't. It just changes. So let's look at a frame, or I guess let's go back to the high res frame here. And I want to see, like, what are the vorticity ranges, for example, because that drives much of the whitewater and certainly at least the vorticity. Okay. So if we click on vorticity like before, we'll get, and you can see the vorticity settings we had been using, 20 to 40, which I believe are probably still the ones on the liquid shader itself. Under here, 20 to 40. So this is all getting the vorticity shading now. That's what we're seeing here. It just feels whiter because of that. So we don't want that. That's too much. So I'm not going to like endlessly tweak this. You'll have to do some of this on your own. But I'm just going to double it up. And that does a pretty good job. So, hey, we doubled the resolution, maybe double the attributes. I don't know. So this is much better. So 40 to 80 looks like is a good thing to plug into here. Similarly, if we're talking about the whitewater source, the whitewater source also uses vorticity. Give that a second. I don't like to press the escape button too much if I don't have to. It does a good job of stopping it, but I feel like it makes Houdini more unstable every time I do it. Man, maybe I'm just going to do it anyway. Oh, okay, there it goes. So the vorticity range is 10 to 20 right now, so I'm just going to double that there too. If we look at that, we can still see, well, based on what we just had a minute ago, it was, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but let's just temper it a little bit. This should still make whitewater, but hopefully it'll be more localized, not so crazy. The last thing is that the waves, the displacement, that size is the same as from this, where we said displace it by 0.1, or not really displacing it, but make that bump mapping of 0.1. But now that we have twice as much resolution, we're still displacing it by the same amount. So we should probably dial that back by, again, the same factor. So I'm going to say the wave height should be half of what it had been, because we have more actual detail now. We don't need as much of the fake detail. So that's pretty much it. Those are just kind of, shooting from the hip attributes. Tweaking this endlessly will be your job someday, but it's certainly good enough for now. And if we have to do any more tweaks, then I'll do those offline. But anyway, so controls, I'm going to do version 2 in case I want to compare to that. Hopefully I don't run out of space. Well, I don't think I will. And this might be your version 1, but let's just do it. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. Here's hoping. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to go all the way to super high quality render just in case. All right, here's really hoping that this goes well.